I'm there for a minute down at Enterprise Center, Matt, and Blues fans have seen some things happen over the years, most recently with Jay Bomeister. So for a bit, that was nerve-wracking to see what happened to Dylan Holloway.
Yeah, and in hindsight, good to see that he's okay, and you can look back at this and um look back at it not as a life-threatening situation, right? Which, obviously the Jay Bomeister situation was, and I'm sure a lot of people in the building, a lot of people watching on TV, a lot of the players on the Blues bench probably had flashbacks to that moment where some panic sets in on the bench when you have a guy who is not acting normally, right? And for Holloway, he's fine now. He was back at the practice facility yesterday, was not on the ice yesterday, was on the ice this morning for optional Blues morning skate, and officially a game time decision. But the way that Holloway described it was he was hit in the neck with a puck, obviously, in his vagus nerve, VAGUS, and after doing a little bit of research, it turns out the vagus nerve controls blood pressure and heart pressure, and when it's stimulated, it can cause your blood pressure to drop and a lack of oxygen to flow to your brain, and then you end up passing out or blacking out, whatever the correct medical term would be. And Holloway didn't remember the last half of his shift. He thought he, went on the 2-on-1 and he passed it up to Suter at the point, and then he thought he went to the bench, but there was another half of it where he circles back in his zone, goes back into to get the puck, and then dishes it off and then goes to the bench. And he said, once he got to the bench, he was woozy. He told Ray he didn't feel well, and then next thing you know, he was on a stretcher next to an ambulance. He didn't even know that the game had stopped. He doesn't remember really being on the bench much at all. And so really scary situation, but one of those things where I think it just got him in the wrong spot, and he's going to be okay. He was cleared. They said, 24 hours to do strenuous activity. And so that was the day yesterday where he had off, and then this morning he's on the ice, and officially a game time decision, but it looks like he could play against Utah. But regardless of the nightly outcome today, obviously really great news to see him just doing fine.
It kind of reminded me, in retrospect, of in a way, of what happened to Chris Pronger. He
Yeah.
was in Detroit. I was at that game, and his parents were at that game, and the puck was not shot hard at Chris in that particular incident, but it hit him just wrong. And it kind of reminded me, because the puck wasn't blasted into the neck of Holloway, just hit him wrong. And yeah, suddenly you're on the bench and you're suddenly losing it, man. And your teammates are like, oh, this is in the moment, man. I was thinking, oh, maybe it was an artery or something that somehow you're afraid of. Obviously wasn't cut, but maybe there was some sort of problem. So boy, for a lot of people, it was unsettling, and for the team to regroup as quickly as it did after being told that he was okay that was a pretty impressive show by the team to go back out and play the way they did against a very good opponent.
Yeah, and honestly, good on the officials to make that call in the moment to send the teams to the dressing room. I mean, you see it every now and then with an on-ice delay where they have to replace a pane of glass, or there's a big old divot in the ice that they need some time to fix, and it's towards the end of a period, and officials will send them off the ice. They'll say they'll finish that minute and 11 seconds after intermission, right before switching sides for the second, and smart move by the officials just to get that done and to get the teams in 18 minutes to settle down, get a mental break. During that time, the Blues did find out that he was alert and stable, and so they kind of had that bit of news coming back out for the second period. And in the second intermission before the third period, that's when Doug Armstrong went to the Blues dressing room and gave him a further update on what was going on with Holloway. And so they had more of a peace of mind, I guess, about what was happening with him, that it wasn't a life-threatening situation, that he was going to be fine, that he was alert, responsive, all those things. And in that situation, yeah, the last thing you want to